there was a lot of threatening that if you retrench, we will you. So I had been brutally bitten by them.
Union is good for the organization or bad?
Union has to be productive. Union has to be with a positive minded. My HR manager was inside the plant. For every HR guys that you have to be resilient, right? Just understand the Gemba and then you are a successful maybe. People will talk on the floor that they are getting this kind of facility, why we should not. Communication should be there.
Basically, you mean to say it should be win-win for both the sides. What is the difference between North working culture and South?
Definitely, there is a big difference in terms of North and South. North people are very aggressive.
Very important role is the employee engagement.
Employee engagement is the only tool where you can divert them from this monotonous kind of job.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the episode 29, the Leaders Speak podcast. We have a person, Sanjay Singh. He has more than 3 decades of experience in different industries. He started his career as a textile industries, then he moved to food industries, then cement, then automobile and engineering. He worked big manufacturing industries, and some of the stories are unheard in my life, because especially the union stories, I felt so scary about the story when he's talking about. You should go through the full episode to understand how the unions works and how can you build that kind of confidence with the union leader. And he worked more than 30 years experience. Now presently is an independent director of one of the well-known corporation. Let's dive in to continue the conversation with Mr. Sanjay Singh. Welcome to the podcast, Sanjay sir. It's been a privilege to host you. And I know you have more than 30 years of experience in HR.
Right.
And definitely we're going to learn a lot of things from you, and definitely have amazing stories to talk about.
Yeah.
And let's begin with about yourself, like where you born, what is the education, what your parents are doing. You can just talk about yourself first.
Right. Thanks, Vashav. It's great in your podcast. Definitely a lot of things to kind of share in terms of my professional journey, right? So I started basically, I will start with my background. I'm basically born and brought up in a city, small city. It's a silk city basically, famous in Bihar. It's called Bhagalpur. So they are very famous globally in terms of tasar. They are producing tasar silk. It's a very fine quality of silk.
Okay.
Maybe very few guys are aware.
Yeah.
So I born and brought up there. My father is a doctor by profession. He's retired now, and I had started my education from there. So in fact, my father, as a kind of professionally, he was to be transferred in different locations. He settled to us in this small town in Bhagalpur, because our grandfather was also there as a kind of, he was a principal in a college.
Okay.
And so we stationed at Bhagalpur, and then we started our education there.
Okay.
I had my graduation, my post-graduation from there. So
In Bihar only?
In Bihar only.
Okay.
So I am a science graduate.
Oh.
I am basically a science graduate, and then my post-graduation is also with science background. I am a botany postgraduate basically, and I started my research at that point of time.
Okay.
But after I thought that this is not my actual field, right, in research, then I shifted myself to doing my law.
Okay.
I enrolled for law for 3 years. After doing my law, I started practice, and then I don't know what happened. Some of my colleague, it's a time of I'm talking about 90s, right?
Okay.
So that time it was MBA, and that kind of courses was very limited.
Correct.
Right. And but some of my colleague asked me to pursue this course, right, to make a better future, because he was discussing that a lot of opportunities are coming, because that was the period when there was no globalization, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of so a lot of industries were also started coming. So he suggested me, and then we thought it's a right opportunity for me. And when I shared with my father, then he said, I don't know what is MBA. I heard about BA, MA, right? But I never thought about MBA. What is MBA? Just let me know. So I just briefed him, and then I tried in some best kind of colleges. but I got opportunity with one of the kind of which was UGC granted college in Bihar. So I enrolled in that particular college, and I had completed in HR,
Oh, great.
and in '94, and but again it's tough getting an opportunity that particular point in Bihar, right? Because industrially, as a state, Bihar is not very kind of at that point of time, right?
Yeah,
It's a
90s.
different kind of culture.
90s, what you're talking about, yeah.
But again, I remember at that point of time, my father was not happy. You will be very surprised, because there is a culture of kind of getting their sons in kind of UPSC or
Okay,
BPSC or
government.
something like government organizations, right? He want to be a IPS or IAS officer. He insisted me to go to Delhi, right, and practice, maybe prepare for examination. But unfortunately, I was not very comfortable, right, to again go for a study kind of thing. And I went to MP. One of my friend was there. So I thought it's better I should leave Bihar for better prospect. And I migrated to Indore
Acha,
at
okay.
that point of time in 1994, 95. And I started my professional journey from
Indore.
there, right?
Okay, great.
So this is my kind of journey,
Education
kind
background.
of
Yeah, yeah.
education and kind of professional thought process, and then my migration from a small city in
To
Bihar
Indore.
to a kind of Indore. It's called kind of commercial capital,
Very famous of food, right?
very famous for
So food,
food.
yeah.
But again, it's a called mini Mumbai.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's called mini Mumbai because very open culture, and now it's the greenest city in our country.
Great. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I understand. Like, I do relate to what you're talking about because in 90s, like, my dad also want to me as a government officer or something. It's very
Right.
difficult, right?
Yeah.
Those 90s and the kids with. I'm not interested in the education, like studies and all, but he insists me do diploma or ITI,
Right.
but I was failed student. Like, I relate that one because normally parents used to force, but now we can't do all those things in our kids, right?
Right.
It's totally changed now, generation to generation. But I was very curious to know that you mentioned like you done a botany like BSc, then law. How come? What made you to choose HR as a profession?
See again, definitely. When you are maybe in a kind of situation as a roadblock, that what will be your future, right? Then definitely you are choosing what will be good for me, right? Definitely, initially I was a kind of, I want to be like my father. I want to be a doctor, right? I tried for get admission in medical college, but it could not happen because due to limited seats and kind of reservation at that point of time. But again, I was influenced by with my grandfather, who was a kind of he was a law graduate. He was an old timer LLM, labor law. He has done his masters in law at that point of time, in 40s or 50s.
Oh.
I'm talking about, right? So after his profession as a principal in a college, he started practicing. So I was influenced by his thought process that I should go as a kind of maybe a kind of judicial services.
Okay.
And then it switched off with my friends kind of when it's developing, always it's a
I
developing,
understand.
and you don't know what the life has kind of meant for you, right? You don't know, you are not very sure that definitely this is your line kind of thing, or this is the profession you are going for. And that it happened, and I completed my MBA, and I migrated to Indore, I told you. And because I had kind of in my family also, that point of time, I am remembering two of my relatives who had done masters in business administration, and they started kind of thing working basically in private sector. One was in HR and one was in marketing. So I was influenced by kind of HR stories when he was telling me he was working with that in Videocon that point of time.
But
Videocon was growing industry.
correct.
Maybe they were started selling TVs, household
Fridge,
kind of,
yeah, lot of
it's a
things. AC and
FMCG
all,
kind of
yeah.
thing, right? So he was telling me a lot of stories that HR is a good profession to build upon kind of thing, right? So when I had a kind of option to select between marketing and HR, then I opted HR as a my future kind
Okay,
of
yeah.
profession, right? And still, for the last 32 years, I am handling toughest job in HR, right? Yeah.
Great, great, great. I think you mentioned like you inspired one of your relatives who's into law and other things. When you started your career
Yeah.
in 90s, definitely you would have a mentor in your life, right?
Yeah.
Who helped you to build your career. If you compare to those days as a mentor choosing and now, because that time there are no other resource available. Okay, so you need to focus, like you need to like it's like a role model or mentor, one person you can need to work with him basically.
Right.
Now generation has so much of facility available, you can get anywhere in the resources, right?
Right.
How much did that change, like as a mentor when you started your career?
Yeah. Definitely, it's very true. When I started, I remember, still I remember when I was studying masters in my business administration. So we had some kind of subjects, right, and as a curriculum, right.
Okay.
And when I was searching in my books, because books was the only kind of resources where we can rely, but some of the topics were missing. I am telling you, like MBO, management by objective. I still remember that it was a big topic, right? And then when I was searching, when I was asking my professor that this is the kind of in our subject, how to read it, how to kind of understand it, basically in a kind of elaborate manner. So when he referred me some books, right? When I went to library, you have to, library is the only resource where you can rely, right? You have to go library, you have to search some books, you have to refer it. There was no internet that kind of time, right? But again, when I found the subject, it was only one page. You will not rely. It was summarized in one page only. What is management by objective? Because that time basically it was not also elaborated much. There was not much discussion on that kind of topics basically. But that's why I'm telling. Okay, that was a big difference. Nowadays, if you search some topic, lot of materials are coming in front of you. You can go through it. You can search it. You can increase your knowledge, right? So a lot of materials are there, right? The same way, very less resources was there in terms of, if as a mentor, if I'm saying, right, very less people in your fraternity or kind of in your family were there, right? So you have to connect somebody maybe from the industry, or maybe you have to find out, oh, who is there to help me as a, maybe if I want to know something about HR, if I'm selecting HR, maybe professors were there, or maybe unfortunately our college was maybe it was second batch or third batch. When we enrolled, it was third batch. There were no many guys which were outside in the industries, so that we can get kind of reference from them. And that was the kind of
Okay.
constraint was there. But fortunately, I had got some friends who can guide me, who can train me, who can give me which is the industry you can explore. Because placement was also a big task at that point of time,
Correct.
because there was no campus placement was supposed to be there, and you have to kind of swim in the world to find out a job. And I told you, then I migrated to it's a in MP, and because I was aware that there are a lot of industries were coming that point of time. It's an industrial area, right? And I landed there, and I started started working there. I started my career from there. I joined a textile unit.
Okay, textile. Okay.
I joined a textile unit, but again, it's a kind of interior, because it was almost 2 hours from Indore city, right? So, but again, it's a challenge. Every day, going to the plant, traveling 2 hours, coming back to the city, because there was no accommodation around in and around the plant, basically. So that's the way I started my career from a textile unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. As you mentioned that you have more than 30 years of experience,
Right.
and you told you started your career with the textile industries. Apart from textile, what are other industries you work?
See again, at that point of time, textile was going through a very challenging uh, kind of time, basically. And I think, if I'm right, that was the kind of time where union basically has a lot of impact in all the industries. Maybe due to the kind of exploitation, maybe we can say by the management, or maybe kind of it's a evolution. We can say that it was a phase of evolution in terms of welfare, benefits, amenities, more kind of medical health facilities. That was the reasons, right? And again, industries were not open. So that was a kind of turmoil. I will say turmoil. It was a turmoil basically in all the industry, particularly in textile, right? Because a lot of textile units in Gujarat, Maharashtra was the hub that point of time, which was closing, right? So it was a toughest time for the textile unit. It was kind of due to the union kind of union and management kind of confrontation, right? And management was thinking that enough is enough. We have to close it, and maybe we can switch over to other units. I remember one unit in that particular area. Uh, they had a very it was from Birlas, and due to this union activities, they finally decided that I have to close this unit and migrate to some other, because Birla is a very big diversified kind of industry there. So they closed this plant with almost 8,000 people in I think it's a 95, 96 is there, what I remember. And they had moved to some other kind of location. They shifted everything. Lesser kind of union situation. So that was the kind of thing. And then where I was working, there are a lot of issues were happening, maybe strike, lockouts, right? Productivity issue was there on the show floor. And because management was also not comfortable, but unfortunately, this plant was 100% EOU. They were exporting whatever they were producing, but it was very challenging for the management, and they had planned to kind of introduce some new technologies. Initially, power looms were used to have in textile units, but they switched over to kind of power looms, or maybe kind of other kind of technologies, and they had reduced the manpower size. That was a very, I remember, still remember, in 96 I have to retrench almost 1,000 people from the plant, blue collared employees, that point of time. It was very challenging for me. And the maybe plant was also closed for 5-10 days. But fortunately, unfortunately, it happened. But I was seeing that this is a tough time for textile unit. And then I was trying to switch over, because it's a kind of interior location, and I also have to maybe kind of, I also have to settle my kind of career further. So I switched over to other. I was looking for. I was getting some opportunity with some other industries also. So I moved again in a corporate in Indore itself, but I got an opportunity in terms of for a corporate role. But I thought this is not a kind of time in my initial learning. It's a initial learning for me. So I regretted that opportunity, and again I joined Britannia's in maybe in 1998 as a kind of further enhance my experience
Okay, from
in
textile to
plants,
food industries.
food industry,
Okay,
right?
okay.
It was a good opportunity. Again, it was the plant was in Gwalior, right? I started with them. I stayed with the food industry for almost 6 years. Then I moved to cement industry,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Textile to
And
food, food to cement.
yeah, yeah. So
Then
see, again, for HR there is no limits,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But again, that was the I was just telling the kind of uh, it was not a kind of other issues that I was not comfortable with one organization. I always thought that whenever there is some challenge, like a new thing has to happen, right?
Right.
New situation has to be resolved. That was the reason I used to move from one industry to other, right? When I joined ACC, and then again I moved to other industry. It was challenges. I joined Yamaha, right?
Automobile, yeah.
Automobiles. Then I switched over to Yamaha because they had a lot of situation at that point of time. And again, from automobile to tire, and then engineering industry, which was my last organization in corporate role. Uh, so I had shifted not due to kind of designation or kind of authority or power kind of thing. It's a learning for me. Every situation was learning from me,
Got it.
and I learn it, I grow it, and again, I advise to my HR fraternity that they should also see some opportunity. They should not go in a kind of comfort zone.
Okay.
Right. I was very comfortable working in an organization.
Growth will happen out of the comfort
Yeah,
zone.
definitely for 5 years or 6 years, because I am also very comfortable with the management kind of thing, and management is also know my kind of working condition, kind of behavior or kind of thing. But again, it's not for that kind of. You should see the opportunity where you can learn and grow.
Okay.
Right. Sitting in a comfort zone, it's very easy, but I will advise that you should see the opportunity, and you can transform yourself only going in a kind of different situation, right?
Okay,
Handling
got it.
different situation. So I was just telling I had switched over 3 or 4 companies in my overall professional career, but again I had faced a lot of situations, right? Every time when I was discussing with the kind of new organization, then there was some challenges. The management has discussed with me that this is the challenge, right? This is the challenge. This is the challenge. Even in one organization, when I was shifting from Yamaha to Delphi, my MD was just briefed me that the kind of situation they were facing, right? Because Yamaha, I was in Greater Noida as a corporate head in Greater Noida, right? But I had got an opportunity with Delphi. So Delphi, they were referred me because they were having a big plan.
Delphi in Noida only?
In Noida
Okay,
only,
okay, got
right?
it.
So they referred me that see again we are they were going through some kind of difficult situation. In fact, they have to shut down one plant, and they have to retrench almost 400 people, blue collar. It was a big challenge, right, for any organization. And again, this workforce was almost 30 years old. It was not kind of 40 or 45 or 50 reaching their retirement. All were young blood guys, right? So that was a challenge, and I saw a kind of a new kind of challenge, and I accepted that challenge. I joined Delphi, right?
Okay.
I was with them for almost 2 years. I kind of this target was fulfilled, I will say, right?
Oh.
We had reached 400 guys, but again, it was tough. And again, it was very dynamic, right? It was not easy. What I'm saying that I had retained 400 guys, I closed one plant. It was not very easy. Here you have to deploy all your uh, kind of experience handling the dynamics of the union. You have to handle the kind of people dynamics inside the plant, the locality, right? The kind of legal complications. It's very difficult, right? It's not a kind of what I'm saying. It was a tough task, but
Got it.
again we had retrenched almost 400 guys, and it was a long discussion between the union, the labor authorities, and management. I was the only guy representing management at that point of time. It was 8 hour discussion, long discussion, and then we finally settled, and we closed retrenching 400 guys in Delphi.
Okay.
It's a different kind of experience, right?
Got it.
But again, it's not easy. I told you, there was a lot of threatening that if you retrench, you, and after completing this task on in June 2010, when I was going to office, almost 10-12 guys attacked me. It was an attempt.
Where,
Right?
in Noida?
Yeah, in Noida,
Wow.
right? So I had been brutally uh, kind of bitten by them. My hand was fractured, rib was
This
damaged.
is which year you're talking
It
about?
was 2010,
Okay,
June
2010.
2010, right?
The 16 years
So
back.
it was a kind of narrow escape, but
Oh.
fortunately it happened. and it was a tough time for me. That's why I'm telling for every HR guys that you have to be resilient, right? You have to be come out with your kind of situation, right? So it was very tough for my family side, for my professional side, but again it was happened, and management supported me that point of time. My family supported me, and I came out with those situations. I again, uh, it was definitely tough. I cannot express this, right?
But in any particular incident, you remember that, okay, that very, very big challenge for you, and by doing some adapting some strategy or something that changed your overall growth of the organization. Do you have
See
any
again, I
incident?
remember in 1998 when I was working with
I think you mentioned a lot of industries,
yeah,
right?
food industry,
Yeah.
right? So we had a incidents happened where my boss was inside the plant.
Boss.
My HR manager was killed inside the plant, right?
Okay.
It was a very kind of aggressive zone. It's in MP, and there was some issues were going on between management and
Union.
union.
Okay.
They were very hard core union, very aggressive kind of thing. We were discussing to sort out this situation, to come out with this particular situation, but unfortunately, we were meeting with the guys, and in the meantime, one guy was very aggressive and he fired a gun from the security. The security guy was also there to protect everybody because the situation was very vulnerable. And he snatched the gun, he put it on the ground, it fired, and one of the blue collared guy was kind of hit the bullet, and he was expired there only. At that situation, the mob was very kind of aggressive, and they bitten all the management staff. They kind of they spoiled the whole office building, I can say. And but fortunately, everybody escaped, tried to escape from the routes they had got. But unfortunately, my manager was trapped between these guys, and he was brutally killed then and there itself by the worker. But that was a very tough situation. I was only there, no management staff were there. I have to handle the whole situation, and I informed the administration. They came inside the plant, and they handled. We had made a fire. They arrested almost 40 guys then and there, and then it was a long litigation. In that situation, cross fire was there. Lot of guys arrested, and there was a lot of pressure on the management also, from the administration also, to arrest from the union side, because they had made a rumor that this HR manager has fired the gun, but it was not true. One union guy has tried to snatch the gun, and he tried to beat on the ground to break the gun, and it fired. It was loaded. But as a rumor, they spread that HR manager has fired, and one blue collared guy has injured, and he finally expired then and there, right? It was a very tough situation. He was two body was there, kind of two people were killed inside the plant that point of time. The whole plant was closed for almost 6 months. Lot of negotiation, discussion, but that point of time, that perseverance is required. Perseverance is required, and you have to be resilient in that point of time to come out with the situation, right? So that is a big learning from any HR guy, that in tough situation, how to come out with those situation, you should know. Because I told you that point of time also, I got a kind of that you have to leave the job, you have to come out with the place, because nobody was there for the next 3 months. You will be surprised, nobody was there in the city out of 250 guys from my organization. Right. It was a big learning, right? How
Right.
to overcome the situation, how to handle the situation, and then lot of lot of discussion between administration, unions, political parties, right? Political guys, local MLAs, MPs. You have to discuss and sort it out, right? But fortunately, unfortunately, the management was also very adamant that we have to close this plant. We shift it to some other place, but uh, we had a kind of shown the kind of confidence on the management. Okay, this happened, but in future or maybe definitely it will not happen. So there was all stakeholders come forward, maybe the union guys, the
Correct.
administration, the local people, the MLAs, and we started the plant after 3 months
The main thing is
successfully.
like walk the talk. Like you have to that kind of talk you require to
Yeah,
the
definitely
union as well as the
you have
management,
to
right?
build a confidence on the
Acha, okay,
management,
that's very important.
right?
There is a major role you what you played there, right?
It's very, and again, we, whenever there was a kind of discussion, they were just asking how you are going to overcome this situation, maybe how to avoid this situation, maybe next time, right?
Okay.
Right. But definitely there was some flaws both the sides. It never from the kind of, I would not say, definitely we had a kind of discussion why this situation happened, how we can avoid this situation,
Got it.
in what situation this should not happen, right? And finally we came out that definitely there was some issues were there which was prevailing from a long time, right? They were also uh, you can say it was not sorted out by the management, and that was the kind of frustration point that this situation has
Got it.
happened, and it may be averted maybe next time, right?
Great. Correct.
By avoiding this kind of issues, right?
And yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That is really
Right.
worried. The people are killed over there in the operation. That's
Right.
do you watch movie?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. My next question is like that movie called Two States. Okay. Just my next question is like when you talk about culture, like you are there from north, from to you migrated to south, right? When you compare the because you work almost all big manufacturing industries, right?
Right.
And different sector.
Right.
What is the difference between North working culture and in South? When you talk about Bangalore, you are there more than 15 years or 10 years, right? 10 to 15 years,
Yeah,
right?
10,
What is
and
the
again,
difference, the culture wise, when it's come to blue collar employee or union, like that?
see again, that definitely when I am discussing in terms of manufacturing, right? Definitely, when we see, or maybe when we are discussing inside a kind of corporate situation, definitely everybody is polite, everybody is kind of have the same kind of frequency, right? But when we are talking about the manufacturing setup, right? Definitely, there is a big difference in terms of north and south. North people are very aggressive, right? Very rare in south you will have this kind of situation which we maybe have seen or heard kind of thing, what happened in Maruti, what happened
Yeah,
in one or two organizations, right? I also faced this kind of situation again in Noida, and again I told you in the central part of the country, MP, where my boss was killed. So this is particularly
yeah very,
Gwalior.
basically very aggressive people
They
like
are
that.
very aggressive kind of thing. They have no you can say they are not ready to wait, right? They want everything immediately,
Instant.
instant. They want kind of thing. But again, people from south, I had not faced. Definitely, one or two incident happened here. Also in Coimbatore, one of my colleague, he was vice president HR in one of the industries. He was killed by the worker. The same situation in Coimbatore, Pricol. I remember Pricol, where Vice President HR was handling the same situation with a union, and he was kind of beaten to kind of death. He was unfortunately killed. So very rare incidents happens, but again, people are very tolerant here, right? But again, now uh, initially the kind of interaction used to happen very rare, north to side kind of thing. But again, due to globalization, those production plants which is in north, they are also setting up in south, and they are also learning what is happening in north, what is happening in south, what are the kind of practices is happening. Recently, maybe in some areas, we heard that in south also, but that kind of situation is not there in particular in south, right? But I told you, people are very impatient, not very aggressive, and kind of short temperament, I'll say,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, this is something never heard about stories like we just talking about how this union people are killed, HR heads, HR people, and this is first podcast I'm hearing these kind of stories. I didn't know that this also happened in
Industries,
manufacturing. Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because it's a surprising, because otherwise, particularly south in Chennai or maybe Bangalore or Hyderabad, it's a IT hub, right? IT hub.
correct.
Manufacturings are also there, like Coimbatore is a
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of industry hub. Again, Chennai, lot of automobile,
Manufacturing only,
maybe last
automobile
10,
only.
15 years. But this kind of situation, you'll never, definitely, you'll heard about strikes,
Yeah,
lockouts, there are demands, right? Long-term settlements. I had signed 6 settlements in the industries, right? It's a very tough situation where you have to conclude or on wages, their welfare, something like that. But very tough in terms of the kind of expectation now blue collar employees
yeah,
have, right? And see, again, maybe 10, 15 years or 20 years back, you can hide something, some data, but everything is kind of,
available
now
now.
everything is available, right? So that point of time, maybe it was a situation where somebody, for their vested interest, right, maybe from the union side or maybe from the political side, they can instigate the union that you ask management this kind of salary or maybe welfare or this kind of thing, but they were not aware that what kind of profit they are getting, right? What kind of profitability is there. So in one case, I remember when I was signing one agreement with the union. It's a kind of 3 years settlement with the union happening, where we used to sign in terms of wage increase. Like we get the increments every year, they used to get 3 years increment, maybe based on the. This is based on the productivity, right?
Okay.
How you going to increase the productivity? What is the kind of inflation is there,
Okay.
right, for the last 3 years. So based on those situations, we calculate that maybe if you are going to increase the productivity by 10%, 15%, this is the kind of inflation, then we can sit together and what is the plan, next 3 years plan for increasing the production in terms of production. So we used to give a kind of wage increase, which is implemented for the next 3 years, maybe 60 40 20 sorry 30 30 or 40 kind of thing.
Okay.
Every year kind of this kind of increase. So this is the kind. In one settlement, I remember I was just sitting with the union guys, and this was the first or second kind of meeting we have with the union. So my question was that how you are going to increase the production or productivity. What is
Okay.
your productivity increase plan? Because without getting the kind of productivity plan, we cannot give you the kind of expectation you had put in your notice of change, because they had to give a notice of change. I want 10,000 increase maybe every month or the next 3 months, 3 years. So they said, no, 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 we don't want any kind of productivity increase this next 3 years.
Oh,
I said, how we can expect this from the management? And as a management representative, how I can go to management and I say, this is the kind of X amount they are asking for the next 3 years. Union is asking for the increase. How they can be? How I can convince them, right? Because I have to get some kind of justification for this X amount. So they said, no, 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 we don't want at any cost. You had already tightened our productivity norms in between. Then we finished the meeting. I said there is no kind of discussion further on this point, that you are not going to increase the productivity. What the meaning of wage increase?
correct.
And we finished the meeting,
Mhm.
right? So that kind of situation, definitely it's a kind of tough,
Tough
right,
situation.
when you are negotiating with the unions, kind of with their expectation. But definitely union has to be productive. Union has to be with a positive minded, right? They have to come with some kind of thoughts, right? They should also contribute. They should not always the takers. They have to only also to give as a giver, right? What they want to give. So this is all a story of tough negotiation between union and management,
Got it.
right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing, sir. Thank you.
Right. So a lot of things, lot of stories are there which I used to tell my HR fraternity, or when I am going to kind of
Good.
industry or maybe kind of academia kind of interaction is happening. This is my always mantra, that uh, you have to understand the You have to go to the site, you have to understand the issues, then only you are able to sort it out,
Got it.
right? Otherwise, we learned as a Japanese concept, right? I worked with Yamaha also, the kind of quality they are producing. It's not the kind of, they have a process. When you are following the process, definitely you are getting the results. This is the kind of, so they are very particular, right? So I am used to tell my HR fraternity, my young students, my kind of, those guys are going through the kind of coming in industry in the future, that go to the plant, just understand the gemba, and then you are a successful, maybe as a CEO after 20 years, seeing the kind of experience on the floor.
Yeah, now you talk about a lot of stories about union,
Yeah.
and according to you, sir, like based on your experience more than 30 years, union is good for the organization or bad?
See, again, we should not see union as a challenge or maybe kind of uh, negative kind of element. Union is always kind of a balancing. In my opinion, union should always be there in any system, right? And they are helpful, right? What my perspective on union is, if it is not there, definitely we should encourage that. We should focus on a kind of transparent communication on the soft floor. We should have a kind of better benefits, employee welfare, kind of wages for them, and the basic amenities, so that union should not come in the picture, right? But again, if this things are missing, definitely somebody as a union representative has to approach the management, right? Or maybe the wages should be at par with the industries, or they have to be paid as par with the kind of inflation, or maybe the kind of industry norms. But if there is missing, definitely union forms. In my experience, recently I was facing in one organization. It was very young organization. Maybe it was, we had in my last organization only. It's a 2009 or 10. It was established in 2009, and it was going smoothly. But seeing the kind of amenities, facilities, or the kind of industry norms, the wage has not been revised or reviewed, or the kind of amenities were provided. After 5 years, there was some murmuring started inside the floor that other industries and people are paid like this. They are getting this kind of benefits, right? So we have to analyze maybe every year or 2 years or 3 years, that how the situation uh, nearby industries, how they are have been paid, what is the kind of amenities industries are providing, what are the facilities, how are the canteen facilities,
Right.
right? If it is at par with the kind of other industries, definitely there is no issues. But again, if you overlook their kind of betterment, then it's started, right? People will talk on the floor that they are getting this kind of facility, why we should not, right? Their salary has been revised like this, why we had got only 5%,
5%.
right? So these are the kind of, you have to, if there is anything, right? Every industry has a different kind of setup. Every industry has a different turnover. Every industry had a different profitability. This all depends. Increased salary is not only kind of thing seeing the kind of 5% to the other industry or 10% to other guy industries. You cannot compare with yourself. But again, this is the right. This is the kind of responsibility of the management, that we should communicate them. See, again, maybe as a representative, we can select 5 people from the show floor, and we can discuss with them. We are saying, okay, fine, these are the kind of people on the show floor who can handle, or maybe they can kind of spread the communication, right? They can discuss with the other guys, right? So as a representative, we can discuss regularly with those guys on the, as maybe as a show floor leaders or something like that. That definitely you are expecting this kind of 5%, 10%, or this kind of amenities. If you are giving this kind of things, you cannot expect with them, because their profitability is different. They had a different kind of business model. We had a different kind of business model.
Got it.
Our margins are very less, right? We cannot expect the same thing what other industries are. So that kind of communication should be there.
Basically, you mean to say it should be win-win for both the side.
It definitely it win-win.
Yeah,
See again, I told you in my last many organizations, or you had experienced also due to some other issues, maybe profitability issues, or maybe kind of. I remember maybe in one industry there was some uh, union was not ready to convert themselves with the latest technology. They were saying no, 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 we don't want this kind of machine on the show floor. Ultimately, what will happen? The cost of production will increase, right? The profitability will go down, and they cannot able to survive. There will be some quality issues definitely. So that was the kind of issues happened, and plants were closed. So that the kind of communication we should spread among the shop floor guys or blue collared employees. That see, this is the situation. This is the kind of globally. This is we should spread this communication. What is happening globally, right? Right. These are the technologies happening. These are our margins, right? In one organization, there was some fight with the bonus. The bonus, bonus every year, it is the kind of 20% or 8.33 the minimum, 20% is the maximum kind of bonus we can give. But again, it's all the profitability. Well, how's the profit, right? But again, they don't understand. Maybe company is not earning, but again, their demand is we want 20%. How company will give you, right? So definitely, union is good. I said union is healthy for any organization, but again, we should have it positive thought process. We should see them as a machinery which is healthy for the organization. We should not see that. Definitely, see there is a positive and negative. Both sides are there, right? Same coin has a kind of head and tail is there, but we should see them as a positive kind of thing, right? Healthy kind of body. We should not see that when they are with you, they are going to having some issues or creating some issues or problems. This is not like that. I had handled the most toughest union in this country, right? But again, when I was in one situation when I was going to join Yamaha, they had their union was known as very kind of negative, right? They are very abusive, they are very aggressive. So somebody asked me, no, no, don't join this organization. Otherwise, it's very difficult to survive. And you don't believe when I joined the organization where Rajdoot was manufactured. That was the company where Rajdoot was manufactured.
Rajdoot,
yeah. So I was there, and that plant was known as the toughest plant in the NCR region, Delhi NCR region, right? The background they have or the kind of thing. But when I interacted with the union, the way it's all depends how you interact with them, how you communicate with them, and whatever I tried or the management tried at that point of time in terms of productivity, discipline. They were saying discipline is not there. After lunch, people used to sit maybe 1.5 hours instead of half an hour, right? But I had never seen. I told you, Gemba, when there was a lunch period, I went inside the plant or the canteen area. When they were seeing me, if somebody was sitting there after their lunch hour, maybe this was their habit kind of thing. But again, maybe after 2 months, 3 months, it was streamlined. So it was a miracle for that plant. I still remember I was appreciated by the Japanese director. He was my kind of thing. The kind of discipline we inculcate at that plant in next 6 months.
Great.
So the way how you handle the kind of transparency you bring among these guys, this is
Very
the core
important,
core mantra for a successful union handling.
Super,
right?
super. Okay, and now see when you have this kind of interaction with uni, and then very important role is the employee engagement.
Right.
That's very important. How do you doing? What kind of activities you used to do in employee engagement in these kind of organizations? Like?
Right, very true. See again, employee engagement is a very nice tool or excellent tool where we can engage our workforce in a positive direction, right? So I remember when I was interacting with one of the owner, during my interview process, I was interviewed by the owner with a big company, Apollo Tires. I remember the owner asked me. See, again, we had concluded the long-term settlement. They had also 3 years settlement with the union. It was very tough. 3 year settlement, it concluded in maybe 4 years or 5 years. It should be within 3 years, but again, it took almost 4 years, 5 years to sign the settlement, right? But fortunately, they had signed, and then he asked me abruptly that how you are going to engage, because we had done the settlement, our productivity norms are set. How you are going to, what is your plan in terms of engaging them? Right, it was a very difficult question, right? His thought process was totally different, right? Without any problem, how you want to run the plant for the next 3 years, for the next settlement. But see, again, this is very important, how you engage the people on the show floor, because see, again, they are doing a monotonous job on the floor, right? Every day they are
Same, yeah.
coming, they had that kind of same equipment, same kind of production target, right? They had the same kind of manager. He is behind them to take the production, right? If 100 numbers are there, they have to achieve the 100 numbers. If there are any lack is there, any less number is there, then his supervisor is behind him. Why this happened? Why the quality issues are there? So see, again, it's a kind of monotonous job they are doing on the show floor, and I am also very kind of keen to improve their kind of this to improve this monotonous kind of job, right? So the employee engagement is the only tool where you can divert them from this monotonous job kind of job every day. So you have to set some kind of training for them. Maybe you have to set some quality circles. I had made some quality circles on the shop floor. I had made some employee engagement activities, like you can say Gemba activities, or maybe kind of in between we used to organize some family
Get together,
get-togethers, right?
family days.
Where they can be kind of appreciated
Got it.
for the good work behind in front of their families, that they had done this kind of thing. Or we used to do something kind of activities where they can be kind of learning something, or they are improving their kind of technology. In one organization, I had formed a 40 quality circle on the floor. There was 10 members, and quality circle is basically to improve the quality. If there is any quality issues, they should analyze it, why it happened. So there is a kind of saying that why analysis, and then what is the kind of they had changed for this to improve this quality. So there is a quality circle, state quality circle institute is there, and they are organizing international quality circle competitions also. So you will be surprised. My team from one of my production team has been selected for international quality circle. They went to South Korea for final presentation, and they were the runner up there.
Okay.
So you can be surprised. A show floor guys understanding the kind of concept of why they are doing the analysis, right? And then they have a competition with big organizations, and they competing there. So this is the kind of engagement activities we should engage to make them more productive,
Got it.
right, for the time being.
Super. Got it. Got it. And you are their independent director on board, right?
Yeah,
Couple
in
of
fact,
things.
I am also I am approved kind of I'm qualified or certified independent director
Okay.
as per the Ministry of Company Affairs, right? They had a kind of some set of examination which I qualified, and I am also on the board.
What is the role of independent director? Like,
See, again, every board, maybe as board level, there are some norms where they have to appoint some independent body or independent experienced professionals. They can be on the board to observe their day-to-day activities, kind of thing, or maybe what kind of governance. There are a lot of norms are there, how they are going to drive the organization, what is the next 5 years plan
Okay.
for the organization, how is the kind of balance sheet, what is the kind of profitability they are doing, how they are going to compete, the kind of thing. So these are the kind of things are there where the government norms is there that almost 30%, 40% independent director has to be on board to observe those kind of activities, and to point out that there should not be unethical practice happen, or maybe kind of they are just like a whistleblower,
Okay.
right? If there any unethical things are
Happens,
happening
and you.
inside the company, they can blow the whistle, or they in front of the government, or maybe as a board, or maybe the owner, that it should be avoided, right?
Great.
To protect the stakeholders, kind of
Basically, yeah, protect
yeah,
the
yeah,
stakeholder.
to the investors, to the society, to the governance kind of thing.
Great. And as you know that because now, especially government also putting a lot of initiative on ESG, right?
Right.
And when it comes to IT, a manufacturer is very important role to play.
Right.
How manufacturing industry is moving towards ESG, sir?
See, this is very important perspective from the government side, not from the only government side, that as a organization or as a kind of individual, definitely we are going back to the society. Whatever we are getting from the society, definitely we have to give back to the society, right? This is the thought process, whole thought process is there. And in that perspective, the government has made some ESG norms, right? That every company has to disclose on environment, governance, and so kind of E is environment, society, and G is governance, right? So they have to publish their data. So there are kind of norms that there are some formats where they can publish their data to the government, and now it's mandatory that every company has to give those data in publish their data in their annual what do you say, kind of I can say
Annual report?
annual report, right?
Okay.
They have to publish
Acha, okay, got it.
in their annual report,
Annual report, yeah.
along with the loss and profit.
They have to mention
They
the
have
cost
to
ESG.
mention this ESG report also.
Okay.
And there is a global GRI, it's called GRI. So as per the GRI also, now it's a uniformity there, right? Initially, every country, every state, every organization has a different kind of data they were publishing in their annual reports. But now, as per the GRI, they have to, there is a uniformity, right? Even the bankings or banking sector, or maybe kind of other organization which is not manufacturing, they have to also give this kind of ESG reports, submit their annual ESG reports to the government. This is mandatory now.
Okay, it's been great, Sanjay, that you shared a lot of stories about, especially for the union and employee engagement on that. Now you have to give me 3 tips, pro tips for upcoming HR professional. Okay, just go ahead.
See again, it's very difficult, right? HR professional kind of the way we are in the industry, uh, all kind of expectations are there from the management, and other stakeholders are also there, right? So definitely we have to fulfill them, but fortunately, unfortunately, HR has been considered as a magician. This is my kind of right
Magician, okay.
kind of magician.
Okay.
Any problem from the management, or maybe any stakeholders, it should be immediately sorted out, or there should be some kind of solution is there with the HR. That is the kind of expectation, right? But definitely we are HR is also a kind of human being,
Kind of.
and they are also kind of handling a lot of issues. So it should be seen in a different perspective, right? And that kind of maturity should be shown by the management or other stakeholders, still even employees. So definitely we are handling a lot of difficult employees in the organization, tough management, also from the CEO part, right? So they are kind of expecting a lot of output, maybe
from the management,
without any input kind of thing. So it's good, but again, I will suggest that every HR professional has to be kind of some qualities, basic qualities, I would say, which is called in terms of perseverance, right? Perseverance means
Perseverance,
they have to be kind of tough in difficult situations, right? They know how to come out with those kind of situations, and how to face those situations, right? So perseverance is very important for any HR professional if they want to be successful, right? They should not be kind of disturbed saying maybe sometimes harsh statement by the CEOs or maybe kind of their colleague or maybe from any stakeholders. They should stand by with those perspective also. They should listen, right? And second is empathy. Empathy is very important for HR professionals. They should adjust themselves, right? They are in a situation where they have to face the different stakeholders at that point of time, any point of time, I would say, uh, maybe employee, management, kind of unions, right? Every angle, and they have to fit in those kind of situations from all the angles. And finally, I would say that for HR professionals, resilience is very important.
Sorry?
Very resilience.
Resilience.
They should be resilient, right? That they should not be shocked in terms of any kind of statement by their stakeholders. They have to come back, or maybe kind of any venture there, maybe any project they are failed, or maybe kind of, or any target, they should not see as a kind of where they are failed. Basically, they should come back, right? In different perspective, they have to think those kind of situations, and they should work again with the same energy and zeal, right? So that's the three most important aspect, I would say, that for any HR professional has to be, uh, if they want to be successful in their
Great,
HR
yeah.
professional, right?
Super. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing
you.
all your stories and inputs. There is a lot of learning for me, especially
Right.
when it's come to union point of view. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks.
It's been
That's all right.
great conversation with you, Sanjay.
Right.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for
Take
sharing.
care.
Yeah. And
Okay.
thank you so much for coming over here.
Okay. Thanks for exploring me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
It's a sustainable brand called Rafter.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Take care. Thanks for
Thank you,
exploring.
thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Here are my three takeaway from this episode. The first one is you need to build confidence with the union leader. That's very, very important, because when you have a confidence in union, the things will happen very smoothly. Because as a HR, he has to work between management as well as union. That's very important to build that kind of confidence with the union. The second one is uh, he created employee engagement with the group of team, in the sense the group of 10 people, 20 people in a shop floor. This is something unique what I heard. Then they sent to the international trip for the participation. This is very, very good initiative what he took in earlier company. Make sure that how much is value for white collar employee, same thing the blue collar also. It's very, very important for the organization. And third takeaway from this episode is independent board of director, because he was part of couple of companies as independent board of director. The person who have that job, he has the overall picture of the organization, where he need to goal setting go, where the company is moving. This is very, very important, because that role is very important for any organization. These are my three takeaway from this episode. Thank you. If you like this episode, please do subscribe and share with your professional friends. See you in the next episode.